What's up, everybody? As always, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to ContractFortune.com so you can be made aware of any events, as well virtual events, as well as educational opportunities that are going to be made aware available to you. I apologize for not making any content for Contract Fortune and getting stuff out there for Contract Fortune. I've been focused on Apex stuff. Excuse me, and that's no excuse. As a business owner with multiple businesses, I need to be able to go between both. Apex has just demanded a lot of time with what's going on being a government contractor. This is what I can tell you. I don't want to focus on the doom and gloom part of it anymore, right? I'm not going to say that part is not there. We already know what it is. I was focused on that part weeks ago. I want to focus on how do we get restarted as a society. This is the time. Everything has been put back to a reset and a restart. Everybody, I'm not going to say we're all even, because some folks have resources to get a business started that other folks may not have. But we are even in the fact that everybody can invent something or play their part and do something in order to help to make the world come back to what it is. And it ain't just the country, the world has to come back to some semblance of normalcy. Forgive me for itching my eye. I don't know why my eye started itching. But what I'm saying is this. Schools, hospitality, anything, because we are a society that functions in close quarters and we need to function with interacting with each other, which is normal, we're going to have to adapt to new social standards and new health code standards, right? JetBlue was the first airline today to initiate a required face mask, like surgical mask, to be worn while you are on their airplanes. All of the airlines are going to end up going to this. Trust me. I can discuss PPE because somehow or another, over the course of the last 8 weeks, I've been sucked into the medical supply world. I'm not a medical supply guy. I'm a logistics man by trade. But I've learned more about medical supplies than I've ever thought I would know. It's because I do business with the government and folks know me for doing business with the government that I've ventured into this world. And, just watching it from afar, you see that the world is going to change and evolve. And you see that the planet is headed for something different. The one thing that I will say, and I'm going to digress, my attention deficit disorder is in full display right now because there's so many things I want to talk about. But climate change. I can look outside right now and see all the way downtown and see everything outside. There's no smog. That gives me hope. I feel like the earth is resetting. I feel like this is a reset moment. That's not to say that the pain of losing a loved one, those that have lost loved ones, those that are coping with COVID-19 right now, that's not to diminish what it is that they're going through. The front line, nurses and doctors who are dealing with this, they're in a whole different bracket than those that are outside looking in and watching the news and just watching press conferences. But it's a reset. And if your mindset hasn't gone into a reset state of mind, then you're missing the opportunity for greatness. I know so many smart business folks. I've reconnected with folks I haven't talked to in years because the opportunities are so vast right now. I don't want to say excited. I want to say my interest is piqued into all the different things that are able to possibly happen. This thing is going to create so many financially uplifted people because so many people are going to come up with ideas to help in different ways to get society going. Case in point, take the restaurant industry, right? That's been one of my biggest daydreams whenever I daydream now is the restaurant industry. When you go on a date, you go on a business luncheon or whatever it is that you do, if you are with a group of folks, then that group of folks can probably sit together. But the days of going into an Applebee's or a TGIF and everybody sitting booth to booth to booth, table, booth, that probably is going to be gone for a little bit. So I wonder how they will adapt to that. Like those places are designed to run at optimum capacity, full capacity for revenue reasons. So if you take half the revenue away from it, how will they adapt? Does the menu become more expensive? If the menu becomes more expensive, those that were able to go in there and eat before may not be able to go in there and eat. Which brings me back to another thought, like in this movie, what was that movie with was it Judge Dredd with Wesley Snipes and Stallone, and the cool thing to go eat, the cool place to eat at was Taco Bell. Food will get more expensive, and you know what we used to pay for an extra value meal, might a couple of dollars might be added onto it. I think takeout is going to save a lot of restaurants. I think that the ability to have takeout is going to save a lot of restaurants. Let's use date night as an example. If you are going on a date with your significant other, right, and you have the ability to take out, then now you can just have your date, but at a different location. You don't necessarily have to go home and eat the food that you take out. You can go somewhere in the car, have a picnic. Picnics are definitely going to be, I think picnics are going to go back into full effect, just like drive-in movies are going to go back into full effect. So for restaurants to do takeout is going to be important. Their ability to do takeout. Now, you don't have to do takeout in the McDonald's style, and that's no disrespect to McDonald's, but you don't have to do it in the McDonald's style where it's just everybody going through the drive-through. You can make it a little bit more elegant and, curbside pickup or however you want to word it. Wording and presentation is everything when it comes to marketing for a business. That's one way to do it. I wonder about servers, like waiters and waitresses. How will they adapt to the situation? How can you adapt them into the equation so that, because they're the backbone, the chefs, I think the chefs will be okay. The chefs will be okay because they are apart. Most of the time they have distance between them. I believe, I haven't worked in the kitchen, but I believe they have distance between them where you just, bring it down a little bit in terms of how many people you have cooking. I think the chefs will be okay, but the dining room floor personnel will probably, they'll have to recalibrate that. But if you are out there and you have an idea for how to help servers, continue to make money, put it out there. Like, this is the time for you to come up with what if you have a virtual waiter service or a virtual waitress service? I don't know how that would work, but a virtual waiter or a virtual waitress. I don't know. I just came up with that. But all right, I was watching Star Wars. This is another one that I came up with, another idea, right? Like, I'm just the things that are going through my mind as this time period goes on. They had a council room, right? And in order for each council member to be in the council room, they would have to get in this little pod. It looked like the old tarantula ride at the carnival. You would get in this little pod, and it would take you up and to whatever slot that pod was from. If you want to have a sporting event, now the technology doesn't exist for this yet, and I don't know who, but whoever invents it. But if you want to have a sporting event again, think about that. Like, if you watch the Star Wars movies and how they had their council chamber and these different pods, right? And everybody has their own pod. Like, it's some space, this isn't a Space Force type of thought, but it's still, it's something that would be way down the road, but that would be how you could have sporting events again. That would be how you could have concerts again. Everybody needs to have their own little section. Everybody's even again. It's just so even in terms of being able to think of a business and establish a business. There's going to be so much opportunity for everyone. There's so much opportunity for everyone. And like I said, I don't want to use the word excited because there's so many people dealing with, such sadness from losing loved ones and that part of it. But those of us that are on this side of it right now, that are, on this side of it, sitting at home, wondering what to do, doing the TikTok. And I know, right? I sound old, doing the TikTok, but, doing that type of stuff. You need to take those thoughts and start to put them towards what can I do to help this situation? Like that thought, those thoughts, those daydreams could be something that could potentially set your family free. It's this book that my partner just put me on with, right? And I don't want to say it wrong, so I'm not going to name it, but I'm just going to basically give you the premise of the book. It was during that time period when the either gold rush or the oil boom was happening. And Each person, like I know the Rockefellers started it, and then the Rockefellers were working with Schwab, and then Schwab was working with like Heinz. Like it was just, you saw all these different names that were little names during that time period, and look at them now. This is what that is. It's going to be little names that you never heard of creating companies that are going to create companies that 100 years from now will be humongous names due to what that company did right now. That could be you. That could be you. That's where I want people to hopefully take that energy. Like I said, there's going to be so many businessmen and women that are created during this time period. That part excites me. The other part that I think about often is the government contracting side. All right, I'm working with several states right now on the state government level. I'm not going to name the state, but each state has been given hundreds of millions of dollars allotted to them to help them secure contracts to bring, get their state the stuff that they need. This is the time for your business to be out there, if you have a business, trying to secure those type of contracts. That's not to say that you'll be the one that gets it, but the little ones are there too. I said that weeks ago. It's been cool watching nature reclaim itself, being able to see downtown, being able to see, be able to. It's so ironic to me and so crazy to me that because of less cars out, smog going down, air quality becoming good, the disease that we're fighting attacks the respiratory system. How ironic is that? But anyway, I just wanted to basically make sure that I put content up first and foremost on Contract Fortune, but to tell everybody that the playing fields are so even right now. The playing fields are so even right now. And you have opportunities available to you to advance whatever it is that your dream is. Like, dream big right now. Dream big for your future. I know that these are trying times. I know that these are scary times. I know that, this is a little bit, it's overwhelming to a lot of people, especially if you have kids looking at you wondering, what's going on, and you're doing your best to explain it. Don't put yourself in a posture where you're putting fear in those children, right? Not saying that you're intentionally scaring your kids, but this is the time to give your kids the inspiration and fire to be a part of changing this world. Like, you tell your children all the time, you can change the world. You could be the next president. She can be the next president. She can be the next this. He could be the next that. This really is that moment. Some of these kids are going to do humongous things to affect this planet for the future. This moment is a moment where you can mold those brains, right? Especially because they're at home working with you. These are those moments where you could take those brains and help them to focus on something that will be a passion of theirs into the future. It's a beautiful time to be alive. It's really a beautiful time to be alive. It's a beautiful time to practice the basic human kindness. It's a wonderful time to see humanity at work. I want to make sure that I say thank you. I mean, I'm not anybody important, but I want to make sure that I say thank you to all my nurse friends and doctor friends who are helping to save lives right now. I didn't want to be a medical person even before this, but now I'm even more like, wow, I couldn't do it. It takes a special amount of courage to be those people, and you are owed everything. Those that are trying to aspire to entrepreneurship, get into contracting, get into freight brokering. That's what my line of work is. So therefore, I'm going to push it. But it's something that is thriving right now. But take this time to daydream and come up with your idea. Because again, we're all even right now. Everybody stay safe. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to make sure that I get more content up here. Subscribe to Contract Fortune. I love everybody out there. Stay safe. Do the right thing and protect yourself. But protect those who are trying to protect us and get us back to... You want the world to be normal again. You got to do things right now and make sacrifices for it to go back to some sense of normalcy. So have a great day. Be safe.